Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Let's sing Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Giravardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Giravardhari. Shodhanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Shodhanandana Vrajjana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirthasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadotam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Haripriye Vanchakalpato Briyascha Kirpa Sindhubevacha Patitana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Nama Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukham kroti vachalam pangum langyate garim yat kirpatam vandashi gurundin taranam paramanandamadam shitaneshram hariyam tasat Narayan namaskritya naram cheva naruttamam devim saraswati vyasam tato jamadurya nashta prasya abdurisya nitam bhavasya bhagavati uttam shloki bhakti bhakti nishtaki. Hare Krishna. Okay, so starting chapter 4 today. And so this previous chapter, the change in the heart. So the whole process of spiritual culture is not just about hearing, it's about changing the heart. Srila Prabhupada explains. It's a heart relationship, it's a loving relationship. So we avoid the don't, engage the do's, and move forward. So we have certain regulations or certain things that we can and cannot do. And Srila Prabhupada explained that you will know you're going forward and your heart is changing. How? Detachment is increasing and eagerness for service is increasing. So there's a change in the heart from material to spiritual life. So, chapter 4. Let's just see what's in chapter 4. Okay. So it's the process of creation. So verses 1 to 4, Sutta Goswami describes what happens next. So that's Parikshit concentrates his mind on Krishna. Parikshit detaches himself from material things and inquires. And then 5 to 10, Parikshit Maharaj questions, your words are enlightening. How does the Lord create, maintain and destroy this universe? How does he enact primary and secondary creations? The Lord's activities are wonderful and inconceivable. How does he expand himself? So question like that. And then 11 to 25, Sukadeva Goswami's prayers to the Lord. Obeisances unto Lord. Tasmai Subhadra Sharvase Namo Nama. And 19 to 23, may the Lord be pleased with me. Prasiddhatam me Bhagwan Satam Patihi. So we'll find out what that's all about as we go. Okay. So now we come back to Sutta Goswami. Sutta Vacha Vyasekar iti vachas tattva nishtyam atmana upadharya matim krishne utareya satim vyadatat. So Sutta Vacha, Sutta Goswami said, Vyasakhe of Shukadeva Goswami iti thus vachaha speeches tattva nishtyam, that which verifies the truth, atmana in the self, upadharya just having realized, matim concentration of the mind, krishna onto Lord Krishna, utareha the son of Uttara, satim chaste, vyadat applied. So Sutta Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Shukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. So as you know, that this conversation of Shukadeva Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit was then repeated by Sutta Goswami to the sages. So, we sort of interchange between the two conversations. And then from time to time you may get Maitreya and the Vidur conversation going on as well. Because Vidur also heard from Maitreya Muni. So the word Satim here is very significant. This means existing and chaste. And both imports are perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. The whole Vedic adventure is to draw one's attention entirely onto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna without any diversion, as instructed in Bhagavad-Gita 15:15. Fortunately, Maharaj Parikshit had already been attracted to the Lord from the very beginning of his body, in the womb of his mother, as we know. In the womb of his mother, he was struck by the Brahmastra, atomic bomb released by Ashwatthama, but by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from being burnt by the fiery weapon. And since then, the king continuously concentrated his mind upon Lord Krishna, which made him perfectly chaste in devotional service. So by natural sequence, he was a chaste devotee, of the Lord. And when he further heard from Srila Shukadeva Goswami that one should worship the Lord only and no one else, even though full of all desires or desireless, his natural affection for Krishna was strengthened. We have already discussed these topics. So he says here, one should worship the Lord only and no one else, even though full of desires or desireless. So even if you have desires, you ask Krishna for those things. If you must, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam. So like that, there's 4 kinds of people, they come with desires. So material desire, but eventually those material desires will be detached, as we just mentioned earlier, the change in the heart. So to become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna, 2 things are very much essential. Namely, having a chance to be born in the family of a devotee and having the blessings of a bona fide spiritual master. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj had both opportunities. That doesn't mean that if you only have one, you definitely need a bona fide spiritual master, but even if you're not born in the family of a devotee, that does not mean, you cannot advance. But that's his ideal situation. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Parikshit Maharaj had both opportunities. He was born in a family of such devotees as the Pandavas, and just to continue the dynasty of the Pandavas and show them special favor, the Lord specifically saved Maharaj Parikshit, who later on, by the arrangement of the Lord, was cursed by the boy of a Brahman and was able to get association of such a spiritual master as Shukadeva Goswami. So in the Chaitanya Charit Amrit, it is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Lord Krishna, achieves the path of devotional service. So you need the mercy of the Lord and the spiritual master, his representative. This was perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaj Parikshit. By way of being born in a family of devotees, he automatically came in touch with Krishna, and after being so contacted, he constantly remembered him. Consequently, Lord Krishna gave the king a further chance for development in devotional service by introducing him to Shukadeva Goswami, a stalwart devotee of the Lord with perfect knowledge in self-realization. And by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, he was perfectly able to concentrate his chaste mind further upon Lord Krishna as a matter of course. So it's important to have the right desires. If you so desire, from time to time we'll meet people who will be our mentors, our guides, who will help us to advance further, clear our doubts. Excuse me. So, speaking and hearing is purifying, but we have to apply to get results. Krishna Mati Rastu, may you become absorbed in Krishna, was the blessing Mahaprabhu used to give to everyone. That's our application. This is our Holiness Jayapataka Swami. He also gives his blessing, Krishna Mati Rastu, may you become absorbed in Krishna. That's the best blessing to give. There is no inauspiciousness in Krishna consciousness. We must have faith that when we have reversals, it's just circumstantial situation to bring us closer to Krishna. So, it depends on how we see a situation. However we see a situation, then that's what it becomes. If we see a situation that is taking us close to Krishna, and most time it is, and then that's what it will do. Because then we start applying that. Okay, this is going to take me to Krishna, so what do I need to do? How should I go about this? How can I improve myself? How can I advance more? Okay, this door has closed, but there's a bigger one I can see is opening, so let's go through there. If you don't go, you're the one who has to go through that door. So yeah, see the bigger door opening. Okay. So verse 2. Atam jaya suttagara pashudravina bandushu rajye chavikale nityam virudam mama tam jaho. So Atam, body, Jaya, wife, Sutta, son, Gar, palace, Pashu, horses and elephants, Dravina, treasure house, Bandushu, onto friends and relatives, Rajye, in the kingdom, Cha also, Avi, Kale, without being disturbed, Nityam, constant, Virudam, deep rooted, Mam Tam, affinity, Jahu, gave up. So Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses, elephants, his treasury house, his friends, his relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. So this little atomic soul has so many attachments, so much affection, so many connections, so many positions, and
desires.
Now looking for another word. Right. Anyway, it's so many labels. I mean, that's probably the ordinary term. I was looking for a bigger word than that. Designations. Yeah, there's so many designations. With somebody's wife or husband or child, and in job we have so many positions like that. We have friends, and we have position there, and so we have so many links. And Maharaj Parikshit, he just gave them up, just at the snap of a finger. He just gave it all up, never looked back. Just gave it all up and left. To become liberated means to become free from Deha Atam Buddhi. The illusory attachment for personal bodily encoverings is everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and all other entanglements. One selects a wife for bodily comforts, and the result is children. For wife and children, one requires a dwelling place, and as such, a residential house is also necessary. So your attachments keep increasing. All the attachments, they are coming just from one thing, another leads to another thing. Then animals like horses, elephants, cows, and dogs are all household animals. And the household has to keep them as a household paraphernalia. In modern civilization, the horses and elephants have been replaced now by cars. So they are horses, cars, and conveyances with considerable horsepower. To maintain all the household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and be careful about the treasury house, and in order to display the opulence of material assets, one has to keep good relations with friends and relatives and neighbors, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. This is called material civilization of material attachment. Without even trying, these things, they're there. They look you in the face, and then you have to abide by the rules. You have to play the system, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. So this is called material civilization of material attachment. Devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of all material attachments as detailed above. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position of king. But by the grace of the Lord, he was able to give up all connections with material attachment. That is the position of a pure devotee. Maharaj Parikshit, due to his natural affection for Lord Krishna, as a devotee of the Lord, was always executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord. And as a responsible king of the world, he was always careful to see that the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. A devotee of the Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own, but surrenders everything for the service of the Lord. Thereby, living entities under a devotee's care get the opportunity for God realization by the management of a devotee master. So, or a saintly king. So attachment for household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go poorly together. So you can't have, and for Lord Krishna go. So you can't have both. You can have one or the other. One attachment is the path of darkness, and the reason is given that you can't have both. One attachment is the path of darkness, and the other attachment is path of light. So where there is light, there is no darkness. If there is darkness, that means there is no light. So you cannot have both. These two things cannot remain together. They're like two brothers. If one comes in, the other one goes out. Right? They cannot stay together. Krishna doesn't know darkness because he's all light. He doesn't know what darkness is. When there is light, there is no darkness. And where there is darkness, there is no light. But an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And the best example here is the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthira and householders like him can turn everything to light by dovetailing so-called material assets in the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nirbandha Krishna Sabandha, must give up all material connections before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord, or in other words, one who has seriously heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam for even one day, like Maharaj Parikshit, from a fit personality like Shukadeva Swami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. There is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Bhagavatam from professional men. Even for 700 years, never mind 7 days, 700 years, to take Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of Nam Aparad offense at the feet of the Lord. Sarva Shubh Kriya Samyam Yapi Paramadaha. Yeah, so you cannot sell bhakti, it has to be given from the heart. So, like that. So, Maharaj Parikshit, he was glorified so much in the earlier chapters, and now, once again, his glories, his sacrifice is also mentioned. And sacrifice in means of you think, well, you leave everything anyway when you die, all your attachments are left here, or at least in terms of assets, all your assets are left here, right? So what's the big thing? But thing is, Maharaj Parikshit was still alive, and he detached himself, without giving second thought before he left his body. That's the great thing, to leave, because a lot of people will be still attached at the time of death to something or other, whether it's family or their wealth, or or parents even. So whatever, and then that's the conscious they die with. So the conscience has to be clear. Should be just focused on Krishna before dying, not because he will not be focused at the time of dying. You don't have, if you can't do it now, you can definitely not do it at the time of death. The practice, just like everything else, you have to practice. And practice, if you keep practicing, then it becomes second nature at the time of death. So Maharaj was not attached to his possessions. He saw everything as belonging to Krishna. even his family belongs to Krishna. That should be the attitude. That everything is Krishna's property, and you're there just utilizing it for a temporary period. It's not all mine, everything belongs to me. Everything belongs to Krishna. I'm just managing it for Krishna. And if I need to leave it, that's if Krishna so desires, I can leave it as well. Okay, and then 3 and 4. Papraschemam evartham yanmam prichat sattamaha Krishna nubhav sharvane shardadano mahamanaha samstha vijnana sanyasya karmatre vigikam chayat vasudeva bhagavati atam bhavam dridham gata. So Paraprash is asked child, so imam this eva exactly like artham purpose, yet that mam unto me, prashatha you are asking, satama, O great sages, Krishna anubhav, wrapped in thought of Krishna, sharvane in hearing, shardadana full of faith, mahamanaha the great soul, samstham death, vigyan being informed, Sanyasya, renouncing, or sannyasya, karma, fruity activities, Trey, Vargikam, the 3 principles, religion, economic development and sense gratification, cha, also yet what it may be, Vasudeve, onto Lord Krishna, Bhagavati, the person regarded, Atam Bhavam, attraction of love, Dridham, firmly fixed, Gataha, achieved. So, O great sages, the great soul Maharaj Parikshit, constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruit activities, namely acts of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. So the 3 activities of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, dharma, arth, kam, are generally attractive for conditioned souls struggling for existence in the material world. And some people just rely on economic development and sense gratification, and some maybe only sense gratification. So Vedas recommend dharma, arth, kam, and moksha. Not many people go even far as moksha. But even these 3, they should not be the priority. Such regulatory activities prescribed in the Vedas are called the karma kande, conception of life. And householders are generally recommended to follow the rules just to enjoy material prosperity, both in this life and in the next. Most people are attracted by such activities. Even in the activities of the modern godless civilization, people are more concerned with economic development and sense gratification without any religious sentiment. So just the 2. As a great emperor of the world, Maharaj Parikshit had to observe such regulations of the Vedic Karma Kande section, but by his slight association with Shukadeva Goswami, he could perfectly understand that Lord Krishna, the absolute person regarded, Vasudeva, for whom he had a natural love since his birth, is everything. So Vasudeva Sarvamiti, and thus he fixed his mind firmly upon him, renouncing all modes of Vedic Karma Kanda's activities. This perfectional stage is maintained by a Jnani after many, many births. So the Jnanis, or the empiric philosophers endeavoring for liberation are thousands of times better than the fruity workers. And out of hundreds of thousands of such Jnanis, one is liberated factually, and out of hundreds of thousands of such liberated persons, even one person is really found who can firmly fix his mind onto the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, as declared by the Lord himself in Bhagavad-Gita 7:19. So Samhatma Sudurlabha. So to find a Mahatma is very, very difficult, even in the liberated souls. Very difficult to find. Maharaj Parikshit is especially qualified with the word Mahamanaha, which puts him on an equal level with the Mahatmas described in the Gita. In the later age also there have been many Mahatmas of this type, and they also gave up all karma kandya's conception of life, solely and wholly depending on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, who is Lord Krishna himself taught us in his Shikshashtaka. Ashilishava padaratam panishyatu adashnan marmahatam karutu va yatha tatha va vidato lampato mat pranatasdu sa eva napraha. So Lord Krishna, who is a lover of many devotees, may embrace this fully surrendered maidservant or may trample me with his feet, or he may render me broken-hearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time, but still he is nothing less than the absolute Lord of my heart. So this is like the last, it's the 8th verse of Shikshastakam by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is the highest position to be in. Normally we want, like equal relationship. If I love you, then you should love me more, usually at least equal amount. But here Lord Chaitanya and Mood of Radharani is saying that even if you render me broken-hearted by not being present for me, or if it says lampato, that you are like a cheater and like a flirt, you don't consider me as the only one, I still love you no matter what. It's unconditional love. That's what it's all about, unconditional love. So Srila Rupa Goswami spoke thus: Virachyamai dandam din Virachyamai dandam din bandho diyamiva gatir iha na bhavatha kastid anya mamasati nipatatu shatkoti nirbharam va navambaha tad api kilpayodha stuyate chatkena. So, O Lord of the poor, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment. Which means like he's like, I'm your slave. You can do whatever you want. But in this world, I have none to look to except your lordship. The chatak bird always prays for the cloud, regardless of whether it showers rains or throws a thunderbolt. So you can see the Mahatmas, what their attitude is. We are looking for, reciprocation. Ye yatha mam prapadante tam steva bhajami ham. We're looking for something back. Krishna says, I do give you something back. As you surrender to me, I reward you. And he rewards us 10 times more. We take 1 step, he takes 10 steps. So he does reward us anyway. Right? But you're not even looking for that reward. You're just completely surrendered. Do what you like with me. As you desire. I will do rightful by myself. The rest is up to you. And Srila Madhavendra Puri, the grand spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, took leave of all karmakandi obligations in the following words: Sandhya Vandan Bhadram Astu Bhavato Bho Sanan Tobhyam Namo Bodheva Pitrascha Tarpan Vidau Naham Shama Shamyatam Yatra Kvapi Nishtya Yadav Kulotamasya Kams Divishya Samaram Agham Harami Tad Alam Manyakim Anyename. So, O my evening prayer, all good unto you. O my morning bath, I bid you goodbye. O demigods and forefathers, please excuse me. I am unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Now I have decided to free myself from all reaction to sin simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu and the great enemy of Kamsa, Lord Krishna himself. I think that is sufficient for me. So what is the use of further endeavors? So he has reached this milestone, his goal. Srila Madhavendra Puri said, Mugdam ma nigdantu iti napuna bhrantam mahur vidikha. So what I'll do, I mean, you can read this yourself because we are running out of time. So I'll just read the translations. Let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I don't mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Maimonides may point me out as mad. And learned philosophers may assert that I am much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I be unable to do it. And Prahlad Maharaj said, religion, economic development, and sense gratification are celebrated as three means of attaining the path of salvation, so moksha. Of these, Ikshatrayi, especially knowledge of the self, knowledge of fruity acts, and logic, and also politics and economics, are different means of livelihood. And all these are different subjects of Vedic education, and therefore I consider them temporary engagements. On the other hand, surrendering unto Supreme Lord Vishnu is a factual gain in life, and I consider it the ultimate truth, because these things are eternal. The whole matter is concluded in the Bhagavad-Gita 241 as Vya Visayati Atmika Buddhi, or the absolute path of perfection. Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, a great Vaishnava scholar, defines this as Bhagavad Archana Rupek Nishkam Karmabir Vishuddh Chitta, accepting transcendental loving service to the Lord as a prime duty, free from fruitive reaction. So Maharaj Pixies was perfectly right when he firmly accepted Lord Krishna, renouncing all karma-kandic conceptions of life. Wow. Yeah, so giving up, at least mentally, giving up everything, becoming detached, taking out those knots of the heart, Hridaya Granthis, and becoming detached is very, very important. We are so highly attached to things, then we will stay in this material world to come back again, because we still have lots of material desires. I mean, you still have to do your duty. Do it as everything should be done as a duty to Lord Krishna. We still have families, we still have wealth, we still have everything. Consciousness is different. See everything as the Lord's possession, and not our own to keep. So thank you so much. Let's stop sharing and let's quickly go through this. Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, again, there's so much of information in this.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you added so much of more knowledge on top of that as well. Again, thank you, Prabhuji. Few things. Like Lord Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that living entities and the demigods were created. Living entities are asked to do yajna to demigods, so mutually there will be happiness between each other, and they contribute and they help each other. But again, by doing so, you may get deluded as well completely, forgetting about the main goal also. So Krishna also advised again, akama sarva kama va moksha kama udariti. So desire or desireless, you better worship Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna doesn't give basing on desire but deserve. So Lord Krishna not just give, but even we have seen so many past he take away when it is actually not needed, or if it is developing attraction for you towards him, that's what he does. So better to worship Krishna in whatever situation we are, either for desire or desireless, or for anything you can go to Krishna directly. Parishad Maharaj, he was able to hear very attentively. So we understand that 7 days even he did not eat anything or drink anything. That much attention he had, and that's why he was able to ask so many nice questions. I think here Saunika Maharshi is praising all the sages again for their questions and attentiveness when he is discussing about the discussion between Parishit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. So that attentiveness is very important, which I really don't have. I see so many devotees in our congregation are so wonderful. They're really like a Chataka bird. They repeat whatever is said, they repeat it after the class also. So we have seen so many devotees. And once you said that how much in mode of goodness you are, your attention would be that much good. That's what you said, Prabhuji, once. I understand from you that. So first, to be situated in mode of goodness. That's all, Prabhuji, for today. Hare
Wonderful.
Krishna.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Kiran Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. Yes, we must have this desire for this spiritual awareness and awakening. But nothing can happen without the grace and mercy of Krishna and the grace and mercy of a guru, because it is only by their grace and mercy that we have the association of each other and that we have the spiritual awareness to make us go further. And as the various gurus have said, may you become absorbed in Krishna consciousness. That's it. We must be like that sponge where we are absorbing and so much spiritual knowledge that it's just oozing out as we're taking in. And it's a journey. It's a difficult journey, but this journey is made easier because we've got the blessings of each other, we got the blessings of the guru, and we got the fact that we've been born in families where there is devotion and that there is the opportunity to find a better path. Parikshit was not only born in a family of devotees, but he was also endowed with all that spiritual knowledge. He was prepared to abandon everything because he was ready after all that he had received to give up everything, because at the end of the day he was getting ready to meet the divine. And this is the test for all of us. How are we ready? Are we prepared to abandon everything and to give up everything for this greatest journey of all, the journey of all journeys, to give up all attachments? And yes, it's a journey that happens now and has been happening more recently. Many of us have left it to chance. Oh, I will chant the name of Krishna at the time of death. But then it becomes a game of dice. Why do you want to gamble at the end? I might not see Krishna, when you're making that ultimate preparation now. And so, yes, be prepared for that ultimate demise. And so we are now making all that arrangements to become a realized soul in this material world. And it is the greatest love of all that we have, that Radharani exemplified, to have that love for Krishna, irrespective of what he does and abandons you from time to time. You may think he left you, but he hasn't. This is just part of his Leela. And you just have to keep yearning for his love. And you can bet your bottom rupee he'll be there for you at the end. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hina Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much. My humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. These verses cover how Maharaj Parikshit had a very affectionate, very many affectionate relationships with his family members, etc. Wider, his wider network, animals, etc. And I was thinking about how when one is on this path and trying to be Krishna conscious, then this this almost like change, call it transformation of one's consciousness, has a positive impact on everything around them, on all your relationships. It filters into all areas of life. As you expanded on, Prabhu, like in terms of your work and just, you know, even people who don't know you, it will have a ripple effect on everyone around you, which in itself I think is just, it's really beautiful. And as we see here, being on this path also results in one being detached somewhat as well to others, but still maintaining one's duties and responsibilities, etc. It's not as if that we stop caring for people when that detachment develops. We still have that sense of care, but we do it in a more detached way. Mentally, we're a little bit more detached, but the love and the care doesn't really, it's still there, essentially. So the key is to do everything, or to dovetail everything in the service of the Lord, essentially. And as we hear in the second verse, we covered around that the real purpose of human life is not just about, you know, dharma, artha, karma, which is just, you know, performing your duties, your rituals, accumulating wealth, you know, and seeking pleasure, but it's about developing loving attachment to Krishna. That's what people tend to miss. That's the bit that I think you pointed out as well. People don't in general will achieve that in the course of their life. But as we see here, Maharaj Parikshit exemplifies this. He was able to give up everything, knowing that his death was approaching, and focusing his mind exclusively on Krishna. So he sets the benchmark and shows us how it should be done, essentially. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the philosophy that Srila Prabhupada has shown us, that everything is so temporary, and we have been through so many lives. We had so many parents and children, and this is like just one flash in time of that, you know, those cycles that we're going through. So, you know, we've done it before, we're doing it now. If we're not careful, we're doing this again in animal form or human form. Yeah, so, you know, this goes on. This is like just drama, you know, it's going on and on. That's something Krishna's created so we can exhaust our desires, which never exhaust anyway. So we have to dovetail them. Thank you, Andaji. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat. Yes, yeah, very nice verses. Again, we see the example of Parikshit Maharaj, how hearing is so important, and I fail in that. My attention is not good at all. So please bless me. I can hear nicely. So by hearing only, we can be attracted to Krishna, and that will help us to detach from the material attachments. So we have to change from Dehatmi Buddhi to Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. So to be resolute. So, and we learn from the Chataka bird how the bird is so determined because it doesn't depend on any other water, just wants the fresh rainwater. And even, you know, he flies high up, and even if he's hurt by the thunderbolts, he doesn't care because he knows what he wants. So similarly, we need to know what we really want, and we should be really focused. And that can only happen by listening, hearing properly, because this is the sense. That's the last one to go as well. When the body, when we leave the body, hearing is still going on. So hearing is very, very important. So we have to hear. And we can only do that by mercy of a genuine devotee and spiritual master. So again, it shows the importance, you know, how important it is to associate with genuine devotees and spiritual masters. So listen to their instructions and follow the instructions wholeheartedly. So wholehearted attraction to Krishna is required. So we can't just think, we'll give up these detachments. They don't happen unless we are attached to Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much, Mataji. Vijay Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Yes, it was mentioned that we should concentrate on Lord Krishna as much as possible. And I find that as getting older, concentrating on anything becomes more and more difficult. But if we somehow work through it and just concentrate on Krishna, then and not worry about the other things, especially when you think that we shouldn't consider all our belongings and our relationships and family and everything, etc., as our own. So if they're not our own anyway, we shouldn't worry about them, and we shouldn't concentrate on them. But unfortunately, what little concentration we do have goes on those before they go on Krishna. But reading these verses reminds us that we have to concentrate on Lord Krishna and the hearing process and association, and reminding ourselves about doing the bhakti is a great way of trying to make some progress. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Thing is, you can't think of Krishna, his form all the time. So there's other things that we do. We go to work, we do look after the family. But the point is that we do it for Krishna, not for our own benefit. We do it for Krishna, and we see everything as the objects of Krishna. So Krishna says in the verse that we're listening on Sunday, Yad Krosi Yadash Nasi. So whatever you do, so whatever we do, you do it for me, right? That's what he's saying. So even when you're working, the work should be an offering to Krishna. So that way we can think, we're not saying exactly that should be like just thinking, doing nothing else, just thinking of Krishna. He's saying that is also thinking of Krishna. When everything you do, everything you offer, all the austerities that you do, things that you give away, you do for him, that is also part of our bhakti. So like that, so we keep that connection. Like people ask, how can I concentrate on Krishna all day at work? Well, you work, you offer your work to Krishna every morning, right? First we do bhakti at home, build that consciousness as well, and then the offering, we should be offering our work to Krishna, do it as an offering. And when you do your work as an offering to Krishna, then you'll do it with sincerity, you'll do it with responsibility, because you're doing for Krishna. So like that, so you already made that connection with him. That's thinking of Krishna. That's how you think Krishna. And Krishna says, if you can't do anything else, at least follow dharma. So we're following dharma for Krishna, if not for ourselves, follow for him. So the connection is there because we're doing it for him. Normally we keep a connection with our family by working for them. We say we're working for the family. You work for Krishna, and everything else comes in that in that circle, because they're all part of him. Yeah. So this is everything of Krishna. By offer everything we do, everything we give away, all the austerities we do it for, and everything we eat, everything should be done for Krishna that way. So that verse is perfectly explains that how we can be in connection with Krishna all the time. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Yeah, from these verses today, we learned about hearing is very important, and attentively we have to hear. It's like Maharaj Parikshit concentrated on Lord Krishna even more after hearing Sukhdev Goswami. So we have to learn about this, like how we can hearing attentively. And another thing is saying is like we should be thinking that everything is, whatever we got belongs to Krishna. We must not forget this point, because whatever we have is everything given by Krishna. So we should remember always. And another thing is we should fix our mind on Lord Krishna and transcend material activities. Like even if we have any desires in that, we should go to Lord Krishna and it will be fulfilled. And we shouldn't think like, oh, and everybody have desires, like nobody have like no desires. So we have to just go to Krishna, and at least you will be getting fulfilled. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Absolutely. Thank you, Mataji. Okay, so I think Ajay Prabhu now. Ajay Prabhu?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Let's keep it short. I think it's amazing, really, with Parikshit Maharaj. You would think having a Brahmastra aimed at you in the womb would normally something that's dramatic as that would traumatize someone, but in fact, within his case, it gave his life complete meaning. He became known as examiner. He always looked for Krishna after that. He saw the Lord protecting him, and he never lost focus after that. And that's why these great personalities are amazing, that they even in the most, whether it be the most strange circumstances, as in like when he threw the Parikshit Maharaj through this dead snake on the sage's neck while he was meditating, or in this case when he was protected by Krishna in the womb. There's quite incredible circumstances, yet they find a way to dovetail it back to Krishna's devotion. That's all I'd say. Was just that we need to dovetail everything back within bhakti, really, and then even the most strange or peculiar or outlandish circumstances, they kind of start making sense because they're related to Krishna, and that's how whatever confusion we do have in our lives, that becomes cleared up, because once you lay it into Krishna, then there's an answer there. But when you try to speculate yourself, then that just leads to confusion. Haribol.
Haribol, thank you so much. Radharani?
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, these verses tell us that when one's faith has properly awakened, and when they are fed up with the prescribed duties, the varnashram dharma even, and they're just focused on the ultimate goal of their life, then they become the adhikari of Krishna's, full attention, full mercy, and whatever our souls are hankering for will come just directly, like it came to Prabhupada. Okay, he was sitting in this dingy room in Radha Damodar temple in those days. No light, nothing. Rupa Goswami's mercy coming, Krishna coming to Prabhupada. And this is how the mercy comes. Mercy is not going to come in an air-conditioned room, in a penthouse, when you have all the latest gadgets and the latest things we have got in our life. It ain't going to come there. The mercy is just going to come just like that. And like Prabhupada always said to his disciples, yes, you can do Shuddhanam, you can get Krishna with a click of a finger. So to achieve that click of a finger stage, everything of this world has to be, understood as just as something which is helping us. All the facilities, everything, everyone is actually helping us to get closer to that ultimate destination. So to become adhikari, it's possible if we try. All the facilities are there within us. The Paramatma is there within us. And then the steadiness and the nishtha, like we heard Madhavendra Puri's verses, that comes through the mercy, through the blessings of the enlightened spiritual master. Because who is the next to Krishna in this world to us? Okay, we had our parents when we were growing up, when we were born. Then we had our teachers in the school. And now when we are following the path of Krishna consciousness, we are trying to follow this path. There is spiritual master. So Krishna is in the form of spiritual master. Balram Jayanti is coming. So how apt to read these verses. We can pray to Balramji, the Adi Guru, to bless us, to bless our, sleeping souls to rise, to awaken. Yes, Jiva Jago, all the time the Acharyas are saying to us. So we don't just read and hear as if, yeah, we have to do this. There has to be some urgency, and just pray to Krishna that time to time give us this sense of urgency in our souls, that we hear properly and we imbibe what is being said in those verses, in those readings. And whatever little I've seen, we don't have to do a lot. Even if we do 15 minutes of concentrated hearing, 15 minutes of, even 10 minutes of concentrated reading, that is enough. That differentiates between the A-star student and the backbenchers, isn't it? The backbencher is just lost in their own music. So we can be, all the facilities are there, and we can just pray to Balramji with the Balram Jayanti coming up, that yes, look, before Krishna even, this is how Krishna has devised his agency, he will come. So let's ask Balramji to bless us all, so that our sanghas become sarthak, become as it is, that whatever we are doing becomes fructified, in Prabhupada's words, after this life. That is our prayer to Balramji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And thank you all so much. And another wonderful, actually they're all so wonderful. And how we go about them, we decorate them even more in association of devotees. So nice for your input. And we'll catch up again on Monday. Shri Ganthraj, Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Thank you all so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.